Hello everybody, welcome back to NC Thrills, and I know it's been a while since I made my last video, but whenever I posted it and it had a low view count, it made me sad, and so I didn't post. And then I checked it a while later, and I saw it had pretty good views. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll make more. So now I am going to give you my list, my ranking of the coasters of Hershey Park. Let's go. First off, at number 14, we got Coco Cruiser. Coco Cruiser is a Zamperla gravity coaster. It is a kids coaster. It's pretty basic. It's a small lift into a drop that turns into a helix that just turns into little hills, and right back into the station. You go around a few times. I did not ride Coco Cruiser whenever I went to Hershey Park, but I have ridden Great Chase at Six Flags America and Whistle Punk Chasers at Dollywood, which are the exact same ride, and so I know what it does. And it is basic. Sometimes it's jerky, sometimes the trains are really tight, but it's just a basic kiddie coaster, so it's backing up the rear. At number 13, I have Lightning Racers, and just like any other racing or dueling coaster, unless it's a Mobius loop, I do count it as 2 different credits. I did ride both sides, and I do count them as 2 different credits, but I rank them as 1 coaster because they are pretty much the same. But again, I am just credit hungry. So I have Lightning Racer. It's pretty forceless. It runs a little jerky, but it's a wooden coaster, so it's fine. But it's more roughness on a wooden coaster is more pronounced whenever it is forceless, because that's what you're focusing on, because you can't focus on any good elements. So yeah, Lightning Racer, it's fairly forceless, and whatever GCI did in between Lightning Racers and Thunderhead at Dollywood, thank goodness, because that thing it's boring, it's lame, and it's just, yeah, I already said it enough, it's forceless. Okay, on to number 12. We have Trailblazer. It is an Aero mine train, and it is one of the worst ones, because it seems like I've only ridden the bad ones. Yeah, it's pretty lame. It's very jerky. It's got the old trains that are really tight and small. It's not like the trains on Adventure Express. It's lame and uncomfortable, and it's there. Okay. And at number 11, we have Wild Mouse. Oh, on my road trip, I was so happy to ride this because I'd ridden 2 other mock Wild Mice. Ricochet at Carowinds, which is the exact same model and the exact same layout, and Apple Zapple at King's Dominion, which is just the large park model. I also rode two or three Rovashon spinning mice. So yeah, I was pretty wild moused out on this in this year of getting credits. Yeah, but back to Wild Mouse at Hershey Park. It trims pretty heavily. It's not as good as a Ricochet. Ricochet flies through those turns, and you actually get some airtime. But yeah, it's just a basic Wild Mouse. Nothing crazy, nothing spectacular. There you go. That's why it's number 11. On to number 10. We have Comet. Comet, yes. 1940-something PTC wooden coaster with a unique T-shaped layout. And if it had those buzz bars, man, like it did for the longest period of time, man, it probably would have been so much better. But instead, they got new trains, I believe last year or 2 years ago, and now it's just lame. And yeah, there's no forces. It's cool to ride history, but the thing with these old Woodies is that they're pretty lame, and you ride them for the history. And staying in the hollow, really, is number 9, which is Super Duper Looper, the Revolution of the East. And the loop was good, and the rest of the ride just meandered. I guess it was smooth, and the loop element was better than anything on Comet, so that is why it is better. But other than that, it's an old school looping coaster. If you live over in that area and you got like a 6-year-old, you can throw that kid on there and they'll have a blast. It is a great first looping coaster for a child. So yeah, parents, knock yourselves out with that one. Okay, off to number 8. We got Laugh Track. Yes, the Mauer spinning coaster. Basic layout, but I've never ridden a Mauer spinner before until I rode this one at Hershey Park, and I think I rode possibly the best one because it has that theming. The day before, I had ridden Ragin' Cajun at Six Flags America, and that thing spun like absolute, you don't even know, bro. It was like a tornado. That's how spinny Ragin' Cajun is. And so getting on Laugh Track and it being more expensive and more high-tech and significantly better, and but it was better in layout, but in spinniness, it was not any good. It barely spun. It was more like a little twist, a little, hey, here you go, here's a little turny, there you go. But yeah, it didn't spin much, but the inside building, the building was really cool. Yeah, so that's the only reason that it's saving it. There we go. Off to number 7, we got Jolly Rancher Remix. Yes, let's remix those Jolly Ranchers on a Vekoma Boomerang, but at least it's got the new restraints. Yes, it's a boomerang, so the track's a little jerky, but at least it's got the vest restraints. That's all I can say. It's forceful, especially that loop backwards. Yeah, it's intense. But yeah, it's a Vekoma Boomerang, and we all know what Vekoma Boomerangs do if you've ridden one. Okay. Number 6, we got Great Bear. Yes. Actually, this coaster actually kind of knocked my socks off, actually, Great Bear. I was expecting it to be a lower tier, more mediocre B&M invert. I came away kind of liking this. Yes, I like this more than Afterburn. It is better than Afterburn. I just gotta say that. There we go. There's my hot take of the video, I guess. That Great Bear is better than Afterburn. It's got the uniqueness factor. It's got some cool foot choppers. The layout is solid. It is very picturesque. And it's just a really solid invert. And I really thoroughly enjoyed riding it. It had some whip like some classic inverts do. Awesome, great ride. And now we're off to the top 5. And the top 5, like, it is one of the best top 5s at any park. And to start it off, at number 5, we have Fahrenheit. Yes, the Intamin Gerstlauer Infinity Coaster. Yes, it's not Gerstlauer, but it's Intamin, but they tried to do like a Gerstlauer Infinity Coaster, and it was weird. And I haven't ridden many Gerstlauer Infinity Coasters, but I have ridden Fahrenheit, the Intamin version. Very cool. It's a little rattly. I will say that. That's probably the only downside to this ride, that it's a little rough. But it is like almost 20 years old, or exactly 20 years old, something like that. But who cares? It is such a really good layout. The first drop, really good, gets you yanked out of your seat. Gave me Maverick vibes. The Norwegian loop, very fun. The Cobra roll, nice and whippy. All the inversions were just solid. The only downside is that it's not as good as the rest of the coasters ahead of it. I just gotta say that. And it's got that rattle. On to number 4. This might be controversial, or it's not. I don't know. But I got Candemonium, the B&M Hyper from 2020. It's very good. Yes. Everything up into the turnaround is like really solid. The drop's good. The airtime hills are good. The turnaround's nice. Then you come back and you hit some airtime hills that are trimmed. Trims ruin everything. Yeah. And whenever it comes back, goes around the Hershey's fountain, it's just a little lame. It doesn't really do much. Doesn't really do it for me. So it's a first half ride, and that's why it's at number 4. And it's more graceful, and I am more of a fan of intensity and just absolutely getting thrown out of my seat and being breathless after each ride. So that is why Candemonium is down at number 4. But some people have it at like number 2, and that's okay. Good for you. Whatever pops your bubble, whatever makes you happy. Not really, whatever. Okay, number 3 is Storm Runner, the 2004 Intamin Accelerator. Get ready, here we go. Launch 0 to like 72 in like 2 seconds. Something like that. Awesome launch, awesome layout, but it has the same problem as Fahrenheit. It is a little rattly on that track. That track has definitely seen better days. It's a little shaky wakey, you know what I mean? Yeah, but other than that, very good layout. I think the only thing keeping it down is that the 2 coasters ahead of it are better, and the fact that this doesn't really have a long layout. It's got like 3 or 4 elements, and then it's over with. But man, are those 3 or 4 elements really good. But again, it just doesn't have the length, and it's just not as good as the 2 ahead of it. And I think you know what the 2 ahead of it are. It only makes sense. It's always the top 2, most likely. There's more than often the top 2. But which one is it? Which one do I have? Oh, what could it be? Number 2 is Sky Rush. I was going into this thing, in case you didn't know, I'm a big Airtime Thrills fan, so you've probably heard of Airtime Thrills if you're watching this video. So yeah, go check out Airtime Thrills. Great channel. Helped me get into coasters. So shout out Chris from Airtime Thrills. Okay, but back. So I was expecting to not like Sky Rush. I was about to say, oh, it's gonna be mid. Oh, blah 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 blah. Then I got rushed to the sky, and got my socks absolutely torn off my feet, and I had a blast. The only that first drop is nuts. It is 2 first drops in one. So you drop and you disengage from the cable, and then you hit a second part of the drop and you get ejected twice in one drop. It is incredible and insane. But then you're stapled. And then you go into that first airtime hill. Ooh, is that really good? You're out of your seat. Then you come down and turn, and then you're really stapled. Oh boy, are you really stapled? That is the biggest downside to this ride, is that you get stapled. I'm just glad that I never rode it with the old restraints, the lunch tray lap bars that absolutely crush your thighs, because I can see how that would suck. I hear some people say that it's rough. I did not get a hint of roughness. I even rode on the back wing seat and did not get any roughness. So I don't know. Maybe you're just a baby. Huh? How about that? Grow up. But the only reason why it's number 2 is because number 1 is better. But it just doesn't have the variety of elements that I look for whenever it comes to a top tier ride. So that is why it is number 2. So number 1 is Wildcats Revenge. Duh. This thing is a masterpiece. Again, big Airtime Thrills fan. I was expecting it to be mid-tier, and I got my socks knocked off again. 3rd time in a row. Not really a row. Okay. But this thing is intense. Like, it is violent. It is butter smooth, but those elements hit, and they hit hard. I was being reminded of Twisted Timbers, and it was just nuts. Joe Draves knocked it out of the park. Dude, that thing is so good. I'd say it's a front row ride, though. The airtime hills do hit better in the rise up. There isn't much of the getting flung over airtime as it is the ascent airtime. So definitely ride it near the front. Very first row is going to be packed, so I'd try the second row. That probably won't be as bad. Even third row is good. But yes, Wildcats Revenge is just a masterpiece of a ride. I don't have any complaints about it. It is in my top 25, just like Skyrush and Storm Rudder. So yeah, there you go. But yes, there you go. There is my rankings of Hershey Park. I think Hershey Park has, in my opinion, the best roller coaster lineup at any park. Yes, Cedar Point does have more, but Cedar Point does have a lot more garbage in it than Hershey Park. So that's why I give Hershey Park the edge. And Hershey Park is my favorite park in the world because I have been to Canada, so I have ridden coasters outside of the US, so I can say world. Yes. Boom. There you go. Hope you liked the video. Give it a like, give it a share, give me a subscribe, comment down below your top 5 from Hershey Park. I'd love to see that. I love to see the engagement. It makes me feel all warm and fuzzy in my tummy. Yeah, thanks for watching. Adios.